found it, Orgug Onyxbeard said as he slammed down his tools and looked at the broken apart flame cannon. Them darn rats decided to use this thing as either a nest or a toilet, or both. What do you need, Master Engineer, to repair the item? Thonak Strongoth asked, standing next to the red-faced Orgug. As long as I can stand behind it and kick it, it'll work. But my arse needs to be watching them all, not just this piece of scaven crap. I needed melted gold to carve the proper runes on it, and the other daggone pieces of junk is left all around here. Orgun responded, spitting on a piece of the smashed grudge thrower at his feet. I have been informed that our rangers that there is a abandoned town a few miles from here, Thornak replied. It possesses a few buildings and some old woods that we could reclaim, and see if either possess the gold you desire, amongst any other items that may prove useful. Well, dagnabbit, why didn't you say so to begin with? Organ snapped and picked up his hammer. Grab that there contraption and come on. It may be more difficult than just walking in and finding it. The rangers have reported some of the followers of chaos in the area as well. They may be trying to get the gold for themselves, Thornak stated, following the old dwarf out of the smithy. I don't care if Grandpa Nurgle himself is sitting on the front door and handing out lollipops. I want that gold, Orgun snapped at the young standard bearer. That would be a sight, Master Engineer. That would be a sight. Alright, so here's a special narrative report. As you all heard from the narration, this is the introduction of Skip's new army. His third army in the narrative is going to be Dwarves. He has introduced the Dark Axe clan of Dwarves, who are basically a dishonored clan attempting to gather what they need to regain their honor. So, should be fun, even though I have to play even more Dwarves. Awesome. All joking aside, though, this was a really fun game. Very simple. The big thing that is going to throw things off is that we rolled terrain and decided to make use of our new weather tables. So the entire table, it is torrentially downpouring, and that means all non-skirmishing units treat open ground as if it were dangerous terrain. So this is going to be a mess for both of our units. Particularly me, because I have no shooting to speak of. So let's go ahead and get into deployment and see how the weather turned out. So starting off with the Dwarves, and take note that statue next to the first unit of Slayers is a Sinister statue. It comes in important. But he's got 5 Slayers to use as a chaff block. Then he's got 10 Iron Drakes, an Organ Gun, and then in the back he's got a unit of, I believe it's 20 Iron Breakers, and his BSB and Orgug, his general, who is a master engineer, is in there as well. Or no, sorry, the runesmith. Orgug isn't actually here in this group. And then he has a unit of, it's either 15 or 20 Longbeards with great weapons, and then another unit of 5 Slayers. Yeah, I don't think he has the master engineer here. I think it's just his runesmith who's serving as the general, and his Thane, which I don't remember their names off the top of my head. And I apparently royally screwed up and forgot to take pictures of my army, so I'll be telling people what they are as we go through things. So the Dwarves got first turn, and this is their movement. You will notice from the deployment pictures that nothing has changed. That's Dwarves. And Dwarven shooting, the Organ Gun decides to take out my unit of 5 Marauder Horsemen of Slaanesh that I had vanguarded up there. Glad I didn't waste time taking pictures of those and telling you what they are, because they were annihilated. Okay, actually, that first shooting must have been his Iron Drakes, because his Organ Gun hits my unit of 5 Chaos Knights Mark Nurgle with Galgar the Pestilent, who is a level 2 wizard. Mark Nurgle on a demonic steed hit them and killed one of them. Then it's my go, and you get to see the rest of my army move up slowly, because I don't want a dangerous terrain everything. But I have a unmarked Gorbeast Chariot, then a unit of 10 Forsaken. Behind them is a unit of 20 Marauders, unmarked, with flails and shields. And with them is my Battle Standard Bearer, who is an Exalted Hero, Mark Nurgle, with a flail and no upgrades. So, definitely a very different army I've got here. Then, magic on my turn, I end up getting Curse of the Leper off on my knights To pump them up, I get 3 points of toughness on them. And as my first spell of the game, I toss the d6 for Galgar. He rolls a 6, so he automatically gets 1 toughness and 1 wound. So very excellent magic phase there. So turn 2, the dwarves are slowly going to start coming out. He definitely wants to move these chaff blocks of slayers up before I get to them so that we'll actually be in a position where they might be able to help something. And he was going to try and do the same thing here, except for the statue goes off on him and kills 4 of the 5 slayers to start the turn. Seeing no real good other targets, he turns the organ gun on the Gorby's chariot and only inflicts 1 wound. He had a bunch of hits, but I'm toughness 6, so he's needing 5s to wound and just didn't pull it off. So my turn, I move everything up again. I'm not really risking a march yet, so I'm moving very, very slowly. I move the Forsaken up, and then I hide the Gorby's chariot behind them, because if the organ gun wants to shoot them, I'm okay with that, but I am thinking I need the chariot. And I move the Marauders up just a little bit. I'm not sure where they're going, but I want them to be able to get into something. Then I have a really good magic phase. I get both Curse of the Leper off again on the knights, giving them the +3 toughness for the second time, and I get Fleshy Abundance. So they've got, they're like toughness 7 with a 5-up regen save, which is pretty awesome. Fortunately, I didn't roll that 6 anymore, so no buffs to Galgar. And then start of the dwarf turn, the Sinister Statue kills the last Slayer there. So, woo! First, well, I guess second unit down, but it was by terrain and not me, so I can't really take credit for that. And over here, the Slayers march to basically try and deflect my knights. If I do hit, they're going to turn to the side and not really be able to get into his organ gun, which sucks. But he lost 2 of them to dangerous terrain during the march because they tripped and fell in the mud. So absolutely atrocious luck there. Then during shooting, I'm not sure whether it was the organ gun or the Iron Drakes that did it, but the Forsaken get killed except for 1 guy. So he's hanging out there by himself, and I'm just like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to see if he can go tangle with some Slayers and let me not have to throw my Knights in there. As it's a long charge, but whatever. He's now 1 dude and basically useless, so I might as well just do something. And on my turn, that's where I do. I actually charge the Slayers with the Forsaken, and I try a long bomb charge on the Iron Drakes with the Knights. I think I needed a 10 or 11. And I had just enough room to wheel by. It won't let me get into the organ gun, but I was like, you know what, I need to get into something, so I charge, hit them, and lose 1 more knight to dangerous terrain from the charge. Then during remaining moves, I march forward with the Marauders and lose 5 Marauders to dangerous terrain out of 20. Yeah, I wasn't happy with that. So on the plus side, the Marauder units got the Exalted Champion in it, so they're leadership 8 with a reroll, and they do not panic. So magic, I think I get the toughness buff on my Knights off again. I get that off almost every turn of this game. But the Forsaken go into the Slayer and kill 1, take no wounds back in return, and the Slayers are unbreakable, but I won this combat. It's pretty awesome. I'm doing D3 plus 1 attacks, and I think this turn I had always strikes first, so I got rerolls, which was pretty sweet. And yes, here I do get the toughness buff off, but then we go into combat, and I can't do crap. He doesn't hit me back. I think I hit him by 1, but he's stubborn leadership 9 with a reroll and isn't going anywhere. And mine, Chaos Knights, just absolutely sucked win. They just did nothing, and I'm sitting here banging my head on the table. So we go to the Dwarf's turn, and he really doesn't have much to do. He's sliding his Ironbreakers a little to the left, because, I mean, the Drakes are blocking him now. And he's turning the Longbeards to set up a flank charge, but for the moment where I am, my or his organ gun is blocking him. So really, those guys are only going to be able to get in if I can break the iron breakers and carry over into the iron drakes. So we'll see if that's going to happen. We go into shooting. He goes the organ gun into the marauders and just rolls like absolute balls. I think he misfired and rolled a 2 or something. So he's taking 2 shots at -1 and only manages to kill 1 marauder. And then during combat, the Forsaken, who is Mawhand, he's got this big, like that big long arm is actually a big mouth. He murders himself 2 Slayers, and they don't hit him back, so he is fine. He reforms to stare down the organ gun and is just ready to go kick some ass. Then we go into combat over here. The Iron Drakes just can't get through the 1-up armor on everything. But if you see, I only kill 3 guys. I'm like 6 knight attacks plus 3 horse attacks plus the character plus the demonic mount, and I kill 3 guys. Skip is just rolling 5s and 6s for armor saves like a beast. And so they're still stubborn because he's got a full rank of dudes and they're not going anywhere. So then on my turn, I decide to go mix it up with the Iron Drakes, or the Iron Breakers, with my Chariot. So I charge with the Chariot. I fail the dangerous terrain test, and I take 5 wounds and destroys the Chariot. Awesome. So my Chariot fell over and drowned in the mud. This is not looking good. I'm being held up way too long by Iron Drakes, and now one of my big hitters is gone. On the plus side, though, I did succeed my 1 charge with the Forsaken into the organ gun, so he's not going to be shooting anybody. And I'm starting to move the Marauders around to the side. I'm not sure how they're going to get into this fight, but I need to have them ready once a hole opens up. So during the combat here, I end up getting the mutation for the regen, and I don't kill anybody. He hits me back, wounds me, and I succeed the 5-up regen save, and he doesn't go anywhere. So, and obviously, he's not going to break. Then finally here, I do manage to run down the Iron Drakes, and end right in the front of the Iron Breakers, and this is a problem. Because now he's got a clear flank charge with the Longbeards, and I've got no freaking clue how to stop that. And he's going to hit me, and if he can get attacks into those knights, those strength 7 Longbeards are just absolutely going to eat my knights. So we go into his turn, and that's exactly what he does. Yeah, this is bad news. He's going to get in there. Right now I do have a 2-up toughness, so I'm like toughness 6, so that might help, but armor is gone unless something magical happens. That unit is going to get smoked. So just to prolong the sweet moment of destruction, Skip chooses to do this combat first, and Mawhand murders 2 dwarves. They don't get anything back on me, and I'm ready to kill them next turn and rocket into the side of those Longbeards, because apparently the only dude I have in this army that is willing to kick ass is 1 lone Forsaken. And then the magic I was waiting for happens. Skip chooses not to declare any challenges. I have to declare, and he accepts. I guess he wasn't thinking about it. Accepts with the champion of the Longbeards. So I move my character over there. I'm right in his face, and all of those Longbeards can't attack now. I kill his champion fairly easily. I'm doing a couple of wounds. I'm winning, but it's not by much. But I'm still safe. So then my turn, I charge into the flank here with the Marauders. They managed to make it in, although only like my character and 2 guys are in that fight, 3 guys maybe. But I dangerous terrain and lose an entire another freaking rank. So that is, if you're counting, 10 of that 20-man unit has died to dangerous terrain at this point. Then he stops my magic for the turn, and that's bad. Because the magic is stopped, he ends up killing a knight, and I kill a few guys. I'm losing this, but I end up staying just with very good leadership rolls on the rerolls. My character there is eating the back of his dwarves very slowly, and my Forsaken manages to kill the organ gun, so there's points there. Then we go into his turn. Basically, we're just doing combat pictures now because there's nothing else to move. He ends up only being able to kill one Forsaken, or not one Forsaken, one Marauder in this fight. I am challenging out and killing dudes every turn. I think by this turn, I've killed the champion in the Iron Breakers and maybe his Runesmith General at this point. But Galgar is just slowly beating dudes to death. Then over here is my next turn. Only thing that changes in the movement is me sending my one lone Forsaken into the back of his Longbeards. And challenges continue. This must be the turn where I kill his... Or I think I did one wound on his general. That's what his die is there. But the Longbeards turn around and murder poor Mawhand. And they actually do a wound on my BSB too, which is bad. I need those rerolls because everything here is going by like 1 point or 2 points one way, depending upon how crazy it is. But this is turning into a slog. He can't get through my armor. I am doing very little in the wounds. So we go into the next turn. Again, no movement. We're just slowly grinding. I think I kill one more. Yeah, I think I kill one more Iron Breaker, and I lose, but I'm rolling like a beast, so neither group breaks. This looks like the last picture I took. So turn 6, basically, I get Galgar kills his BSB, and I do a little more damage, but neither group is broken, and we're going to have to go to points on this one. And it was a slog. We're really not sure what's going to happen at this point. Galgar sat upon his demonic steed, completely unconcerned for the downpour of rain that continued to turn the battlefield into a flooded mass of blood and bodies. Instead, he stared at the greenish trail of tainted pus that flowed from the bodies of his dead knights. As the foul liquid poured over the flesh of the dead and dying dwarves, their skin erupted into maggots. "Ha ha ha! Hello, my little friends," Galgar said to the writhing mass. "Welcome to life. Eat and grow strong, little ones, for we have gone to great lengths to prepare this table for you." Then Galgar looked to the retreating dwarves and called to them. "See, my hairy little friends, your aims have come to naught. Where you sought to kill, Grandfather Nurgle has created life. But do not lose heart, for Grandfather Nurgle is gracious, and has bidden me to set a place for you at his table as well. Come and sup with us, and we shall be forever friends. Ha 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 ha!" With that, Galgar's servants brought forth a goblet filled with dwarven blood and the ichor of the battle. He held it up before the retreating dwarves in a toast before draining the goblet. As he looked on, a few of the dwarves vomited at the sight, and many continued to flee, but none turned around to accept his generous offer of fellowship. With a pout, Galgar turned to his men, many of whom were showing new mutations as gifts for their performance. "Come, brothers, we shall find no friends here. We must away to bring the blessings of Grandfather Nurgle to the other wayward souls of this land." And so, as the army marched away, the rain slowed and stopped, leaving only the buzzing of flies to echo in the empty field. So, good game for the Warriors of Chaos. Because of my win, I ended up netting the ability to loot the battlefield and found a grand total of 4 gold pieces. But it was certainly fun. I was interested to take units that I've never really played with before. I like the Forsaken. The Marauders are alright, but Nurgle Knights are solid. And the Nurgle character on the Demonic Steed actually did surprisingly well, not giving up his points and just letting those dwarves just try and beat on him all day. Ultimately, though, I realized that this entire game was won by Skip's single mistake of accepting the challenge on that side, which let me keep those Longbeards out of the fight pretty much the whole time. If he had chosen differently there, I'm certain he would have wiped up the Knight unit, and game very certainly would have been his. So definitely a pretty solid showing for the Clan Dark Axe the first time. It's interesting to see kind of the different level of armies that they bring. But because he did lose the game, he didn't get any gold, but he received the positive result on the lose table called Prove Themselves. So now, in whatever game he plays next with these guys, any of the units that participated in this battle auto get hatred. So that's pretty cool. Very interesting list. Like I said, I think it came down to one choice on his part that lost him the game. I definitely have to say I hate organ guns. I mean, they definitely can do some damage, but the weather thing, it was really rough here too. It really benefited the dwarves who didn't have to move all that much. I think he lost two guys to dangerous terrain through the whole game, whereas I lost a lot of points from dangerous terrain. But we'll keep playing with it and seeing if it's too good, not good enough, however it factors in. But all in all, it was a fun game. It was definitely a closer game than I expected. Seeing his army first up, I thought he was going to shoot me to Kingdom Come. But it ended up turning out well, and like I said, if not for one small mistake, this game would have been skips pretty handily. So, hope you guys enjoyed watching this. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, and I'll get to them as soon as possible. Otherwise, we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.